Welcome to Butte, Montana, the richest hill on earth, it is said. Massive center of copper mining, the history and the birthplace of the Western Union movement in the United States. 1917, the worst mine disaster in American history. Underground mine disaster, 168 miners were killed. When there was a fire, an explosion, all the oxygen came out. But this is the Berkeley Pitt. Whilst incredibly impressive, it's actually a pit of toxic water out here. So much so that they make loud banging noises all around the area now to scare birds away after, well, basically any birds that have landed in the pit over time have perished. So it's a note to both, of course, massive copper mining. Copper is incredibly important. Mined, of course, right through the Western Americas, of course, right down to Chile, the biggest producer in the world. But this pit here was 1959 to 1982. I just heard one of the bangers go off. They are still mining in the distance, but whilst this is beautiful in its own way, this is actually toxic down here. And gradually the state of Montana is going through a process of cleaning this up. But there's so much more around here. And if you have very, very good eyes, way up on the hill, the top of the mountain, that is the Continental Divide. And there's a statue of the Virgin Mary up top. It's very hard to see. You might have to scan in, but she's up there. And of course, Butte is a fascinating place in so many ways. It is, ethnically speaking, the most Irish city in the United States. Of course, it was a center of so much mining. Here is a dredge. Now, the dredging, I know a lot more about that when it comes to gold mining, but that is a classic dredge up there. It's fascinating to see how they process the minerals. And then if you are interested, you can always just pause the video here. I am here in Butte with a tour group, and so I do need to get going, but I can talk just a little bit through the history of mining, going right back to 1864 in this area. And that vein mining is just terrifying, underground mining. And then these great big open pits. But say the one that is still functioning around here, they do 2 shifts a day, 365 days a year. But here is the great big Berkeley Pit right there. So there we are. I haven't been back here for a couple of years. Everything was closed down. I look at the walkway and there's my bus at the end. So thank you for coming for this very quick visit with me. And fortunately, you saw no birds in the pit. But there is some of the history of mining here in the Western United States, and I guess we're kind of central southwestern Montana. And I love Butte, by the way, so always add Butte to any itinerary in this part of this beautiful state. Thanks for coming along.